Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment today we are going to discuss about 10 MCQs from daily current affairs. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment first. Consider the following statements about Economic Survey of India. It is an annual document released by the Department of Financial Services. It is presented along with the Union Budget. So we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is not correct, nor is the second. Option D will be the correct answer. The Economic Survey of India is an annual document released by the Ministry of Finance. The Economic Survey document is prepared by the Economics Division of the Department of Economic Affairs under the guidance of the Chief Economic Advisor and contains the most authoritative and updated source of data on India's economy. It is a report that the government presents on the state of the economy in the past year and the key challenges it anticipates and their possible solutions also. It is usually presented a day before the Union Budget is presented in the Parliament. The first Economic Survey of India in India actually was presented in the year 1950-51 and up to 1964 it was presented along with the Union Budget. From 1964 onwards, it has been delinked from the budget. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding National Commission for Women. National Commission for Women was set up as a statutory body in January 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. The practices derogatory to the dignity of women are prohibited under Section Article 51 Clause A. So we have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. Option C is the correct answer. Recently, the Prime Minister addressed the 30th National Commission for Women Foundation Day. The theme of the program, She the Changemaker, is aimed at celebrating the achievements of women in different fields. NCW was set up as a statutory body in January 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. Its mission is to strive towards enabling women to achieve equality and equal participation in all spheres of life. In October 2020, the Supreme Court said that crimes against women continued in a never-ending cycle in India. Constitution safeguards and fundamental rights, if we talk about, it guarantees all Indians the right to equality, no discrimination by the state on the basis of gender, and special provision to be made by the state in favor of women. When we talk about fundamental duties, it ensures that practices derogatory to the dignity of women are prohibited under Article 51, Clause A. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding Baltic states. The Baltic states include the countries of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and the western shores of the Baltic Sea. In 1991, their then popularly elected governments declared independence from the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic with overwhelming support. So we have to select the correct statement. Only the second is correct. Option B will be the correct answer. Baltic states, the northeastern region of Europe, includes the countries of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania on the eastern shores of the Baltic Sea. The Baltic states are bounded on the west and north by Baltic Sea, which gives the region its name. On the east by Russia, on the southeast by Belarus, and on the southwest by Poland and an enclave of Russia. In 1991, their then popularly elected governments declared independence from the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics with overwhelming support. The Baltic region is not rich in natural resources, though Estonia is an important producer of oil shale. A large share of mineral and energy resources is imported. Agriculture remains important to the Baltic economy, with potatoes, cereal grains, and fodder crops produced and dairy cattle and pig raised. India and Baltic countries have historical connect and common linguistic roots. The cutting-edge technology and innovation ecosystems of the Baltic countries complement India's huge market and appetite for these technologies. With reference to the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, consider the following statement. It aims to enhance the livelihood, security of people in rural areas. It guarantees at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a financial year to every household whose adult members volunteer to do skilled work. It also enables a large number of rural youth to take up industry-relevant skill training. It is the flagship scheme of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So we have to select the correct statement. Only the first is correct, rest are not. Option A will be the correct answer. Demand for work under the MNREGA scheme has dropped from the peak of the first lockdown, but is still higher than pre-COVID levels. The Department of Economic Affairs has said this in the Economic Survey. MNREGA aims to enhance the livelihood security of people in rural areas, guaranteeing 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to a rural household whose adult members volunteer to do unskilled manual work. It doesn't enable a large number of Indian youth to take up industry-relevant skill training. It is a scheme of Ministry of Rural Development. Moving on. Consider the following statements with reference to special drawing rights. It is an international reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund, and the value of an SDR is based only on the US dollar, euro and British pound. So we have to select the correct statement. Only if the first statement is correct, second is not. Option A is the correct answer. The SDR is an international reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund in 1969 to supplement its member countries' official reserves. The SDR is neither a currency nor a claim on the IMF. Rather, it is a potential claim on the freely usable currencies of IMF members. SDRs can be exchanged for these currencies. The value of the SDR is calculated from a weighted basket of major currencies including the US dollar, the euro, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, and British pound. The interest rate on SDR or SDRs is the interest paid on to members on their SDR holdings. Recently, IMF has made an allocation of SDR 12.57 billion to India. Moving on. Which of the following are correct regarding partial parasitic plants? They are also called holoparasitic plants. They are chlorophyllious. They have a worldwide distribution in tropical as well as temperate habitats. So we have to select the correct statement. Only the second and third are correct. Option B is the correct answer. A new genus of a parasitic flowering plant has recently been discovered from the Nicobar group of islands. Partial parasites or hemiparasites are commonly referred to as mistletoes that contain 18 families, 160 genera, and over 2,200 species. They have a host tree or shrub in order to thrive and exhibit a worldwide distribution in tropical as well as temperate habitats that evolve approximately 5 times in the order and are important in forest ecology, pathology, and medicine. They are chlorophylous, that means they contain chlorophyll and they play an important role as they provide food for frugivorous birds. Moving on. With respect to the Economic Survey 2022, consider the following statements. Agriculture and allied sectors have been the least impacted by the pandemic. India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after the US and China. India has the third largest forex reserve. So we have to select the correct statement. First and second are correct. Third is not. Option A is the correct answer. The Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs presented the Economic Survey 21-22 in Parliament on January 31, 2022. The central theme of this year's Economic Survey is the agile approach implemented through India's economic response to COVID-19 pandemic shock. The Indian economy is in a good position to witness GDP growth of 8 to 8.5% in 22-23. Supply side reform, capex, and exports to be growth drivers for the next financial year. Agriculture and allied sectors have been the least impacted by the pandemic, and the sector is expected to grow by 3.9% in 21-22. The number of new recognized startups have increased to over 14,000 from only 733 in the span of time. As a result, India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after US and China. India transformed from being among the fragile 5 nations to fourth largest forex reserve, giving policy room for maneuvering. Moving on. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 has been in the news. Consider the following statements in this respect. In the amended Act, preliminary inquiry is not a must and no prior approval is also required for appointing authorities for senior police officers to file FIRs. The Act also does not provide for anticipatory bail to the accused being charged with SC/ST Act. Courts can, however, quash FIRs in exceptional circumstances. We have to select the correct statement. All of these statements are correct. Option D is the correct answer. The National Commission for Scheduled Castes on Monday directed the Mumbai Police to file a case against the SC/ST Act in the complaint filed by Directorate of Revenue Intelligence Officer Samir Wankhede. SC/ST Act 1989 is an act of parliament enacted to prohibit discrimination against SC and ST community members and prevent atrocities against them. The act has been enacted keeping in view the express constitutional safeguards enumerated in Article 14, 15, 17 and 21 of the Constitution. In the amended Act of SC/ST, preliminary inquiry is not a must and no prior approval is also required for appointing authorities for senior police officers to file FIRs. It also doesn't provide for anticipatory bail to the accused being charged with the act. Courts can, however, quash FIRs in exceptional circumstances. The India Out protests, which started 2 years ago, belong to which of the following islands? The correct answer is option B, Maldives. The India Out protests, which began 2 years ago, have increased in pitch since the release from house arrest of opposition leader and former pro-China President Abdullah Yameen late last year actually. The bill to stop all action that could negatively affect relations established by the Maldives with foreign countries, the draft is seen as effectively targeting the India Out campaign. It could be submitted when the country's legislative body, Majlis, reconvenes on February 3rd. Recently, which country has been given the status of non-NATO ally by the USA? The correct answer is option D, Qatar. US President Joe Biden on Tuesday designated Qatar as major non-NATO ally, a symbolic honor. It was meant to convey his administration's gratitude for the tiny Persian Gulf nation's assistance with evacuations from Afghanistan and in ending last year's Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. The move could be helpful in Qatar's bid to get US approval for a more than $500 million sale of MQ-9 Reaper drones. Mers-CoV was first identified in 2012 as a link with 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. It was first identified in Saudi Arabia. Dromedary camels were the major host of the virus at the time. We have to select the statement which is or are not correct. Both the statements are correct. The correct answer is option D, neither one nor two. With Wuhan scientists alerting the world about 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 virus, which has been reported among bats in South Africa, a fresh apprehension was born. But scientists have assured that 𝐾𝐾𝐽 should not be a cause of concern, as it can't infect humans in its present form. 𝐾𝐾 is also not a variant of SARS-CoV-2 and has been linked to MERS, an old coronavirus, not the one which is driving the pandemic in the past 2 years. The full form of MERS is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. It was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012. After MERS was first identified in 2012, 27 countries reported MERS cases. It is a zoonotic virus, which means it can transmit between animals and people. And according to WHO information, people in Saudi Arabia mostly got infected through unprotected contact with infected dromedary camels. Moving on to the practice question, consider the following statements. Fiscal deficit is the difference between total expenditure and the sum of revenue receipts and non-debt receipts. Primary deficit is derived by deducting capital expenditure from fiscal deficits. We have to select the correct statement. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.